Today, we're diving deep into a classic, powerful story from the 13th century poet Rumi. It's this incredible tale about a king, a handmaiden, and a mysterious sickness that, believe it or not, ends up revealing the true nature of love itself.
And Rumi kicks things off with this verse right here, which is really at the heart of the whole story. He's telling us from the get-go, hey, pay attention. This isn't your average everyday emotion. Love is a profound spiritual force. He calls it an astrolabe. You know that ancient tool for navigating by the stars? He's saying love is a tool for navigating God's mysteries. So this isn't just a romance, it's a spiritual lesson.
So, let's get into it. Our story begins with the first act, a king's earthly love.
So picture this. You've got a powerful king, a guy who has everything he could possibly want. One day he's out hunting, and he lays eyes on this beautiful handmaiden, and he is just instantly captivated. So what does a king do? He uses his power, his money, and he buys her. Right from the start, we see that this love is all about desire, possession, and earthly power.
But of course, it's not that simple. Almost as soon as he has her, a crisis hits, one that all his power and wealth can't fix. And that brings us to the next part of our story, a sickness beyond medicine.
The handmaiden gets sick, like really sick. The king, in a panic, calls in the best doctors in the entire kingdom. Now, Rumi's description of them is fascinating. They show up, chests puffed out, so full of arrogance, boasting about their skills. But Rumi makes a really crucial point. In all their pride, they forgot to ask for God's help. So their purely scientific, intellectual approach, it completely backfires. Their medicines actually make her worse, and she just withers away to practically nothing.
And this really sets up the central conflict of the whole story, right? On one side, you've got the court physicians. Their focus is the body, their method is earthly medicine, and the result? Total failure and despair. But the story is already hinting at something else, another way, the divine physician, who will focus on the soul using divine insight. It's a classic Rumi theme, the limits of what we think we know versus the power of real wisdom.
So the king has tried everything he can think of, and he hits rock bottom. This is his breaking point. He completely lets go of his crown, his ego, his pride. He runs to the mosque, barefoot, and just prays with this raw, desperate intensity. So much so that he literally collapses, unconscious. This is the moment he finally admits his power is totally useless and begs for help from a higher source.
And that desperate prayer? It gets answered. Which brings us to the story's big turning point. The divine physician arrives. While he's passed out, the king has this incredible dream. A wise, radiant old man appears and tells him, "Don't worry, a true healer is on his way." Sure enough, the very next morning, the king is looking out from his palace, and who does he see walking towards him? The exact same man from his dream. It's his magical, fated moment, totally outside the normal rules of the world.
And when the king meets this physician, he has this massive spiritual realization. He looks at the healer and says, "My beloved was not she, but you." Now what he means is that his intense desire for the handmaiden, that was just a catalyst. It was an instrument to lead him to this much deeper spiritual connection he's feeling now. His whole journey is already changing.
So, this new guy is on the scene. How does he tackle the problem so differently from all the others? Well, that's what's next. Diagnosing the heart secret.
The physician takes one look at the handmaiden, and he just gets it. He immediately sees what everyone else missed. The problem isn't physical at all. He says it plainly. Her body is healthy, but she is captive to her heart. The diagnosis? Love sickness. Her soul is sick, not her body.
And the way he confirms this, it's absolutely brilliant. It's like something out of a detective story. First, he clears the room to make a safe, private space. He takes the maiden's pulse. Then he just starts naming different cities and towns. Her pulse stays steady until he says the word Samarkand. It jumps. Bingo. He then starts naming neighborhoods in Samarkand, then specific people, until her pulse goes absolutely wild at the name of one person, a young goldsmith. He used her body's own reactions to unlock the secret her heart was hiding.
So, now we know the costs. The cure should be simple, right? Well, not exactly. This is where the story takes a really dark, morally complicated turn in our final section, the bitter, necessary cure. The physician tells the king that the only way to cure her is to bring her and the goldsmith together, but the plan he lays out is pretty shocking. He says they have to lure the young man away from his home with promises of riches and status.
Then they have to marry him to the handmaiden, let them live in complete happiness for 6 months until she's totally healthy again. And then they have to give the goldsmith a potion that will destroy him.
And the plan unfolds exactly as he said it would. You can see it here. The goldsmith arrives, he's given all this wealth, and he marries the handmaiden. As they live happily together, her health comes roaring back. But her recovery is tied directly to his fate. As soon as she's well, the physician gives the goldsmith the potion, and his handsome looks and his health just begin to fade away.
So you have to be asking, why? Why this cruel, terrible twist? Well, Rumi gives us the answer right here in this verse. Loves that are for the sake of a color are not love. In the end, they are a disgrace. He's drawing a very sharp line in the sand between two very different kinds of love.
Let's break that down. The handmaiden's love for the goldsmith was a fleeting love. It was based entirely on his appearance, his color, and his form. And when his beauty faded, so did her love. That kind of love, Rumi says, only leads to emptiness. True love, on the other hand, is based on the soul, on someone's true essence. It doesn't fade, it's always renewing itself. And that's what leads to transcendence and real life.
So you see, the cure was never really for her body. It was for her soul. By destroying the object of her superficial attachment, the goldsmith's good looks, the physician freed her from the attachment itself. The sickness was that shallow love, and the cure was its complete removal.
But the story doesn't just end there and let the king off the hook. With his dying breath, the goldsmith delivers the story's final, haunting lesson. This world is the mountain, and our action, the echo. It's his powerful statement on karma, right? A reminder that every single thing we do, even things we do for what seems like a good reason, creates an echo that will always, eventually, come back to us.
And that's the final challenge the story leaves us with. It turns the mirror away from the king and points it right at us. The goldsmith's words force us to think about the ripples we're creating in our own lives. So the question the story leaves us with is this: what echoes are your actions creating?